Yes, guys, welcome. Is Jude Bellingham the Messiah? Well, let's talk about it. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thank you for joining me this afternoon on another Liverpool show. Today we're going to be talking about Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham, that's who we're going to be talking about today. 150 million euros, 130 million pounds is what Borussia Dortmund have slapped on his head. Can Liverpool afford that? Will Liverpool buy him for that? That's what we're going to talk about today, guys. And the issues at the football club as well in itself at this moment in time. And what's going on at the football club? Are we falling behind? Are we falling behind? That is what we're going to be talking about today. So big up to everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. Do appreciate it. But yeah, to get them likes up, guys, as quick as we can, because that does help the channel immensely. Good afternoon to everyone as well. Boogerman in the house, how you doing, my friend? Ask 500 Millfields. A bit too much, but we'll see. Big up Edward. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. Glad you enjoyed it. Rocking out. Big up John. Big up Captain Sal. Big up Panel. How you doing, my man? Big up Ian. How you doing? Big up Edward. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. Big up Don and Jamie. Hope you remember I always said we'll. You did say that, my friend. Big up Paul. How you doing, my friend? Big up North Fred. Sorry, need more than Bellingham. I'm not complaining if we get in, but we need a lot more. That's what we're going to talk about. That is what we're going to talk about. 130 million FSG is giving us palpitations. We won't even spend 120 million gross in total in our transfers next summer, let alone just on Jude. Big up Savage as well. Joe in chat. Savage, if you want to come on and have a chat with us, my man, put a thumbs up in the chat and I'll send you an invite. Big up Lakers. Yes, Lakers got to come on a live. Big up Lakers because he messaged me earlier and he's here. Big up Gary. Big up Gumben. How you doing, Gumben? Gumben, it's been a while. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. We got John Conway. Ash, how you doing as well? Family is doing good, my friend. Family is doing good. So Jude Bellingham. Where do we start with all this Jude Bellingham stuff, guys? Where do we start with it? Because, right, the Jude Bellingham thing online. So, online, the Jude Bellingham stuff is going, obviously, if you're on Twitter and you're seeing it all, it's going balmy. But who pushed the Jude Bellingham? Who pushed it? Like, there's been. I remember. Let's go back a bit. Let's go back a few years to Mbappe. Let's go back a few years ago to Mbappe. When Mbappe, there was these rumours about Liverpool were interested in Mbappe. They probably were interested in Mbappe. I'm sure teams are interested in a lot of players they can't afford to buy. You know, I'd be, interested in so and so if it was interest and definitely going for are two totally different things. When see the problem is when journalists, blue tick journalists, they speak to the football club, and then the football club will go, "Yeah, we're interested in this player, we're interested in this player, we're interested in that player." The blue tick then put it out on Twitter. Liverpool were interested in Mbappe. Right, that's what it is because it's a click headline. Everyone clicks on it, yeah, and then it's like made up. It's like made up balls, you know. It's like made up balls, and Liverpool were never in for Mbappe. What it was, Mbappe's mum is a Liverpool fan, yeah. So I don't know why, but Mbappe's mum is a Liverpool fan. She wanted, so Mbappe knew that. So Mbappe had a meeting with John W. Henry and Jurgen Klopp, and then he did that for his mum, so his mum could meet them. Yeah, it was a present, a gift to his mum, and I think everyone got a bit like, oh my god, FSG I've met Mbappe, Klopp's met Mbappe, they've met his parents. This is massive. This is massive. We're going to go in for it. We're going to get Mbappe. And I think the whole thing around it is that it might have been, they might have had a chat. I'm sure, it'd be stupid not to have a chat when you got Mbappe. You got Mbappe in the room. It'd be silly not to have a little what's your situation at PSG? I think he was actually at Monaco at the time when we had this meeting, I do believe. It might have been when he was still at Monaco. They might have gone like, what's your situation at Monaco? What's happening? Let us know. And, he probably said, look, I'm going to PSG. They're offering me this much money and this much money. And then Liverpool were like, whoa, yeah. We ain't touching you for that. That's out of our price range. So that little meeting might have happened, but that's because he was in the room. Personally, I think the meeting, that's all it was. And it gets spread on Twitter, and then Twitter spreads it out. And, Twitter takes hold of it and it goes somewhere it probably shouldn't go. You know what I mean? So social media gets hold of things and the momentum starts to run and run and run. Liverpool are definitely in for Mbappe. They'll go to see Mbappe. Summer of 2020s, Mbappe. We're going to get summer of 2020s, the Mbappe season. Mbappe's going to come to Liverpool. And, it's because someone reads an article, then someone puts out something on Twitter, then someone reads that on Twitter, puts out their thing on Twitter, then they link someone to that article, and then it gets retweeted and retweeted and retweeted, and it goes off and off and off and off. It's like Chinese whispers, ain't it? I don't know if you're I don't know if it's politically correct allowed to say that anymore, Chinese whispers, but I said it. But it's like that, ain't it? When someone tells you something and it goes down a line of about 1,000 people, and at the other end, they've heard about 5 different stories. Do you know what I mean? And it's not the original one that came from source. So I think that's what it is with the Mbappe stuff, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Obviously, they had a real meeting. It was for Mbappe's mum. The cure Japanese whispers. It was for Mbappe's mum, so he did her a little good deed. He gave her a present, sort of thing, and as I said, there was probably chat and social media got hold of it, and it went down and down and down and down, and people got carried away with it. I got carried away with it. You read articles. Wow, John W. Henry and Jurgen Klopp had a meeting with Mbappe next summer. Wow. You get carried away with it, don't you? But when you go back to the original source, the original thing, like Mbappe put it out himself, which is the original source, it was just a meeting for his mum. It weren't like a transfer meeting or I'm going to Liverpool or anything like that. And then you hear, oh, Mbappe plays as Liverpool on FIFA. It's like, wow, Mbappe plays as Liverpool on FIFA. He's going to come to the club. There's no doubt about it. Mbappe plays as Liverpool on FIFA. Well, of course he probably plays as Liverpool on FIFA because at that time we was a tremendous side. Why wouldn't you? It doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't really mean anything. And I don't know if this Jude Bellingham has done the same thing. I don't know if the Jude Bellingham stories have done exactly the same thing, where an article has come out. I think it was last season about Jude Bellingham, wasn't it? I think it was last season. A little article come out about Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham is a Liverpool fan. I think his dad's a Liverpool fan. Stuff like that. And it got wildfire, didn't it? And then I think last season you had that video of Reece James and Jude Bellingham saying who their hero midfielder is, who's their favourite midfielder out of like Gerrard and Frank Lampard and all that. And Reece James said, oh, it's definitely Frank Lampard. It's definitely Frank. And then Jude Bellingham, no, it's Stevie G, man. Stevie G's my hero. He's my idol. Is who I base my game off. And like, so people read all this and thinking, right, he's a Liverpool fan. His dad's a Liverpool fan in a way. His hero is Steven Gerrard. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. Jude Bellingham should be a Liverpool player. Jude Bellingham should be a Liverpool player. Now, to be fair, I was on this hype train as well. I ain't gonna lie. I was on this hype train. I was on about it as well, because you see these articles, you see, oh, sort of like you put two and two together. You know, I look at Twitter quite a lot, so I'm on Twitter quite a lot and looking at articles, looking at clicks, and you see things. You put two and two together, and you're like, oh, maybe it is true. Maybe Liverpool are after Jude Bellingham. Maybe he's the player they want. But when it comes down to it, you're like, I don't know. I don't know with Jude Bellingham, guys. I really don't. I don't know about you guys. I don't know. I really can't. Do I think he's going to come to Liverpool? I did the other day. Last week, I did a video and I said I wouldn't be surprised if Jude Bellingham did end up at Liverpool Football Club. But now, when I see the prices at now, Dortmund want 150 million for him. No, not 150 million, guys. Nowhere near 150 million. I'm not buying a midfielder for 150 million. They have to be extremely special to be 150 million. I'm talking in Zinedine Zidane quality here. 150 million for a midfielder. It's what you pay attackers. Attackers are the ones that are that sort of money, not midfielders. It's just too much money. It's too much money. 130 million pounds. I think it's 150 million euros. 130 million pounds is too much. I'd rather get 3 midfielders for 130 million pounds than just one midfielder, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, if we buy Jude Bellingham, say Liverpool did just go and buy, just imagine Liverpool just went and bought Jude Bellingham, yeah? Shocked everyone, right? FSG said, yeah, go and buy him. Go and buy him, and yeah, see what you think. And we went and bought Jude Bellingham for 130 million. We did a deal. We got it down to about, I don't know, 120 million, 115 million, something like that, right? And we bought Jude Bellingham, right? And then we're all excited as Liverpool fans. We're like, oh my word, we've bought Jude Bellingham. Wow. We bought Jude Bellingham. Amazing. Right, now, that's awesome. We're all going to party. I'm going to do a video. Liverpool bought Jude Bellingham. It'd be a great video. It'd probably be one of my highest ever rated videos, because it'd be like everyone would be watching. And it'd be like, this is amazing. And then as that summer transfer goes on, and we're now like 3 weeks into the transfer market, and we're getting very close to the beginning of the season, I'll be doing videos, and everyone in the chat will be like, Jamie, we haven't bought anyone else. We need more midfielders. Jude Bellingham's not enough. We still got the same problems. Thiago's world class, but he gets injured. Fabinho looks leggy at the moment. He needs resting. We've still got Milner. We've still got Henderson. Naby Keita signed a new deal for some reason, but still getting injured. So we've not actually improved that much, but we got Jude Bellingham, which is quality, but we needed more. We need more. And then my simple answer would be, guys, we spent 120 million on a midfielder. What did everyone expect? We ain't going to buy another midfielder for 50, 60 million quid and spend 200 million on 2 midfielders in one summer. I mean, there ain't a lot. I know FSG wouldn't do that because that's ridiculous money, but I'm looking around the world of football in the last 20 years or so. I can't remember many teams spending 200 million pounds, around 200 million pounds in one summer transfer window on just 2 midfielders. It's hardly ever happened, ever. You think about it in the last 20 years, I remember that year when Real Madrid did a madness and bought Kaká and Ronaldo in the same transfer market. Do you remember that? They broke the world record for Kaká, and then they broke the world record for Ronaldo like a week later. You know, and they had that, like, two attacking like minded players in the same team. That's a madness. Apart from that, I can't remember a team that really smashed up the transfer market like 200 million on just two midfielders in one. You know, it's very rare. So that's why none of this makes sense to me, guys. This is why none of it makes sense to me. Jude Bellingham might be priced out of a move. Now, I don't want to do too many Jude Bellingham stories anymore. So I'm going to do this one today. And then I'm probably going to leave the Jude Bellingham stuff alone after this video today, guys, because let's face it, there's no point going over and over and over about it, because eventually, you know, it's going to become a story. It's so dead. You know, you're just repeating yourself constantly, and there's no point doing it. So I'm doing this one today, and I'm going to finish on this one today as well. With Bellingham, look, 150 million euros. I think Borussia Dortmund might be pricing him out of a move. I think 150 million. You might be pricing him out of a move. I don't even see Man City paying 150 million for Jude Bellingham. I know people will say they paid 100 million for Grealish, right? I think Man City will look at that now, what they paid for Grealish for 100 million, and really think, you know, we have got that money, but 100 million for Grealish, we got that wrong. We got that wrong. We're not going to go and spend 150 million. I don't think City would spend 150 million on Bellingham. I really don't. Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid have got Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde. Modric has probably got a year left. Still got Toni Kroos. You know, they might need a midfielder. They might need one. They might want that young midfield, but then they might be looking at it and thinking Camavinga and Tchouaméni are very young. If you go and get Bellingham as well, that's three very young players in the side. Three very, very young players in the midfield. And they might need a bit more experience than that. So they might leave Bellingham alone for that reason and go for more experienced aged players. So the midfield's not too young. So I think eventually they want to put Valverde out on the right wing. I think that's where they want to play him at the moment. But he's another young guy as well. So they might be looking for a bit more experience there. And you've got Rodrigo, is it? Who they're looking at as well. And he's young as well. So, you know, they might be thinking, yeah, we need a bit more maturity in our midfield. So we might leave Bellingham. And at 150 million, even Real Madrid would be like, 150 million is a lot of money for Jude Bellingham. Then they might be looking Man United. Now, Man United are the ones. I will say this right now. Man United might be the ones. And I hate saying this, but with Man United, they don't really care about price, do they? We've seen that. We've seen it in the last few years. I don't think Man United really care about price. Look, they bought Anthony for 100 million euros. They don't really care about how much someone costs. You know what I'm saying? They bought Anthony for 100 million euros when he's not worth it. They tried to buy Jadon Sancho, you know, from Borussia Dortmund. I think they bid 90 million for him, but Borussia Dortmund wanted 100 million. And then obviously they got him far cheaper the following season for 70 odd million pounds, which is a good deal. Man United might be the only ones, because Chelsea as well. It all depends with Chelsea. Chelsea are a weird one as well. When I look at Chelsea Football Club, Todd Bowley has spent a lot of money in his first season, yeah? The problem with Chelsea, because they got American owners now, and I don't care what anyone says, American owners are mostly all the same, right? They're all very similar in what their business approach is. And the problem with Todd Bowley is he has spent a lot of money this season and he hasn't really sold. You know, he hasn't really made money on sales this season either to balance the books. And Chelsea's problem is if Chelsea don't finish in the top four this season, if Chelsea don't get Champions League next season, they're going to miss out on a lot of money. a lot of money. They're going to miss on all that Champions League revenue, Champions League money, advertising. That's why it's so important for owners to get into the top four. That's why a lot of these owners are happy just finishing in the top four, because it brings so much revenue and money into the club. Now, if Chelsea don't get into that top four this season and get into Champions League next season, they won't be able to spend that kind of money, because because of FFP, they're going to have to start making money back. And they won't be able to afford to just go and buy Jude Bellingham for 150 million when they've got no Champions League, because they're going to miss out on all that money and the money they spent the previous summer. So they need some outlay. They need to sell some players to make that money back to be able to do it. So I think unless Borussia Dortmund come down on their valuation of Jude Bellingham, I don't see Jude Bellingham actually going anywhere. I really don't. I think Bellingham stays at Borussia Dortmund next season if his valuation is still 150 million. Now, obviously, the World Cup is this winter. He's in the England team for Italy tonight. He's probably going to start. Well, he should start. If Bellingham ain't starting for England, there's an issue. So he should be starting for England, yeah? If he's starting tonight and he looks good and he has a decent World Cup, all it's going to do to Borussia Dortmund is keep that valuation. They're not going to come down for him. They are not going to come down. If Jude Bellingham has a decent World Cup and he catches the eye, they're not going to come down on his valuation. They're going to keep it at 150. They're not going to come down on it. They're going to go, well, he's our star player. Every club in Europe wants him. Every top European club wants Jude Bellingham. He's our star player. He's just had a great World Cup. He's caught the eye of the world. Why should we come down on our 150 million price tag? They'll go on his age, his ability, his star quality. All that sort of stuff all comes into transfers. And when you look at it, 150 million, Borussia Dortmund might be like, yeah, that's what he's worth. That's what he's worth. Now, it's a big gamble. 150 million is still a gamble. Like any transfer, as they say, transfers are all a gamble. A player could look amazing at a certain club. You pay the money for him. Darwin Nunez. You pay the money for him, and he comes to your club, and he's not hit the ground running, and he gets called a flop straight away when he has. I'll do Darwin Nunez. Yeah, let's do Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez had a fantastic season at Benfica. Yeah, no one can deny that. He had a tremendous season at Benfica. Looked amazing. He looked quick, athletic. He was a proper goal scorer. He looked great. Yeah. Liverpool went and bought him for £65 million. Yeah. And it goes up to 85 million euros if the bonuses all add on. Yeah. Right. That's a gamble. Now, you bought him. Now, when I watched when you go back and watch, yeah, because when we were first interested in Darwin Nunez, guys, I was like, yeah, he's a good player. What I saw of him when he played against Liverpool in them 2 Champions League games, I was like, yeah, he's a top draw player. I mean, I saw him with pace, aggression, technique, finishing. I was like, we have that sort of player in our team, we could do bits. But that's the only 2 games I saw of Darwin Nunez. Now, I've gone back and watched a lot of Darwin Nunez's stuff. The goals he scored, the ability he has on the ball. I saw some goals he was scoring. Everyone keeps on about his build-up play. Go back and watch him in his Benfica games, guys, last season. He's got great hold-up play. He's got skill. He's taking on players. He's going round players. He's putting the ball in the back of the net. So Liverpool have gone, right, we've watched this boy. He's going to be perfect for us. Let's go and buy him. We go and buy him. 65 million quid. Everyone was like, whoa, Liverpool spent 65 million quid on a striker that really, in theory, only had one great year. Now, he's a young lad. He's 23 at the time when we bought him. So one great year when you're 23, to be fair, as a striker, is quite encouraging, because he's been doing that between 22 and 23. Yeah, that one great year as a striker. But he also did it in the Champions League, which is the hardest competition in club football. So he was doing it at a high level. Now, what you can say what you want about the Portuguese league, he was still doing it at a high level in the Champions League. So for that age, 22, 23, that one good year for 22, 23, is really, in theory, if you think about it, it's fantastic. Yeah? So you're buying that kid, 22, 23, is doing this at a high level, and you're paying 65 million quid. For me, that makes sense. It makes sense. The transfer makes sense. Because then you're going to bring him into a better team and go, right, we're going to have that version of him in a better team right now. And he's going to be fantastic for us. Now, he's not hit the ground running. Some of it the fault of himself, some of it the fault to the club, right? But he's not hit the ground running. And now he gets mocked all the time on Twitter. Rival fans love to mock him, putting up videos of him doing silly stuff and stuff like that, and just mocking the crap out of him, taking the mick, right? So at the moment, this looks like a gamble of a transfer. It looks like a gamble. All transfers are a gamble. Now, when you look at Jude Bellingham, £130 million outlay. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And I don't think Borussia Dortmund want it split up in installments or add-ons or anything like that. I believe they just want a clear 130 million. It's a lot of money, guys. A lot of money. Also seen as a gamble. Now, do people think that Jude Bellingham's the answer? Is he the Messiah, like I said at the beginning of the video? Is Jude Bellingham the Messiah? No, he's not. But it's acting like it. It's like the club are acting like Jude Bellingham is the only person we can find in Europe that will suit us down to the ground in our midfield. And I know by the guys, everyone in the chat right now, you all hate that. You're all like, there's plenty of midfielders out there we could have got that could come into this team right now. I've been saying it a while now. I rate our recruitment at times. I think our recruitment has been very good the last few years. Like, since Jurgen Klopp came in, I think our recruitment has been solid, right? I think our recruitment has been solid. But I don't think our recruitment is as great as people might say it is, if that makes sense. There's players out there. Why didn't we get Jude Bellingham when he was at Birmingham? If we've liked Jude Bellingham for this long, right? Why didn't we just go to Birmingham and just buy Jude Bellingham then? Why didn't we just go to Birmingham and go, look, talk to Jude and go, look, Jude, we want you in our team. We want you part of this squad. We've got some other young players here, and we want you to be part of that. We're building for the future with the likes of you, Harvey Elliott, and then you got Carvalho a couple of years later coming in. You're building for the future. We're building for a future. We're building for the new Liverpool. That's what we're building towards, Jude. We're building to the new Liverpool. That's the future Liverpool see. They want young guys coming in with quality, with ability to build to the new Liverpool. You could have gave Jude this big speech, this big thing, go, he'll come to our club. We're building to the new Liverpool. We want you part of it under Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp is trying to drive this club into the new era. He wants younger players. He wants to reset this team. He wants you part of this team. He wants you in the middle of this team. He wants you part of the spine of this team going forward for the years and years to come. Yeah? I mean, I'm putting it better than the club does. The club should have just sent me to Birmingham and I would have got Jude Bellingham. You know what I mean? I would have just done it. But that's what you should have been doing and getting him on the cheap. Now, you're going to have to pay 130 million for him. It don't make sense. Doesn't make sense to me. Liverpool apparently always been interested in Valverde. Liverpool have always been interested in Valverde. They've always looked at him, always watching him. And apparently have already been interested in him. Now, Real Madrid bought Valverde when he was young for really cheap. Like, really, really cheap. Yeah? I think it was like 4.5 million or something like that. It's something ridiculous, yeah? And now he's going to become a superstar. He's on his way. He's on that ladder to being a superstar, yeah? Where was Liverpool scouts when Valverde was around that time going for cheap? Camavinga. You telling me, is everyone telling me right now that Camavinga couldn't get into this Liverpool team? Come on. Of course he could. Jude, I mean, Camavinga, how much did he go to Real Madrid for? Was it 29 million, 28 million? It was something ridiculous, weren't it? Weren't it something ridiculous? So cheap. How did the scouts and the transfer committee and the recruitment team not look at Camavinga and go, wow, top player. I can see a bright future for him. How can they not go, right, why aren't we in for him? Why aren't we made a move for him? Why aren't we made a move for him before someone else does? You know, why aren't we going for him? Why aren't we going for these young players? Now, we have done it. We have gone for players that no one's really, we went for Robbo when he was at Hull, and that was a good signing. Nothing wrong. That was a great signing. He's one of the most informed. When Robbo's in form, when Robbo is not tired and knackered like he is now, but you get the informed Robbo, there's hardly any better left backs. That was a great bit of business. Tremendous business getting Robbo. We've done good business. I think Carvalho will be a good bit of business. What we paid for Carvalho, was it 5.75 million in the end? I think Carvalho will show tremendous qualities in the years to come. And we'd be like, wow, what a signing that was. We bought a superstar when he was at Fulham for 5.75 million. And now look at him, superstar. That's a good bit of business. I think the Harvey Elliott stuff's a good bit of business as well. Harvey Elliott's a good bit of business because it's the future of Liverpool. You've also got to get your future and your club correct as well. There's no point buying aging stars all the time because you've got no future going forward. You have to look. What you have to do as a football club at the top level, at the elite level, you have to look at the present and the future at the same time. That's what you have to do. So you have to make sure in the present we got the right players in that can keep us going for a few years till we get to the future. And in that future, the players we bought for the future will then be ready to step in for the players that were in the present, if that makes sense. Like what Real Madrid are doing. Real Madrid had that legendary midfield, yeah? Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro. They've already future-proofed that midfield. Camavinga and Tchouaméni. They've already future-proofed that midfield by still buying in the present and buying in the future. So they got quality players now in the present, like your Modric and Kroos and all that. And Camavinga and Tchouaméni are just waiting to come in to take their spot. And then they got players for the future. And then they become players in the present. And then you go and buy players again for the future. So there's always a changing, and you don't fall down the ladder again. Liverpool are at the top of the ladder. Liverpool are right at the top of the ladder, guys. Right at the top, yeah? Can't get no higher. Right at the top of the ladder. For a few years. I keep saying it. The 2 years we won the Champions League and the Premier League back to back, them 2 seasons, I do believe we were the best team in Europe at that time. I don't think anyone could touch us. We won the Champions League that one season and had 97 points in the Premier League. The following season, we went and won the Premier League and won the league on 99 points. To me, I think we were the best team in Europe at that time. Without a shadow of a doubt, I think we were the best team in Europe at that time. In my opinion. And we was at the top of the ladder. The problem is, we didn't future-proof the club in them 2 years to where we are now. And that's the problem. That's the problem. So we had a great squad that did everything and sweat, blood, everything for this team for them 2 years. But we didn't future-proof to get to where we are now. You know, as Burida says here, it's easier to attract talent when you're at the top. Exactly. We should have got players in. When we won the Champions League, we should have got players in. Now, I have been a thing of this. When we won the Champions League, I said I was all right not buying anybody. I was all right. I know we bought Seth Van der Bergen and Adrian or whatever it was. And I said, I'm all right not buying anybody. I'm fine with it. If Jurgen Klopp don't want to buy anybody that summer and he's happy with it, I'm fine. Then we won the league title. And I was like, see, guys, we won the league. It's cool. It's cool. But I understand everyone's point. What I do now, I understand what everyone was trying to tell me back then, is that we didn't future-proof the club. So what we needed to do is look to the future, but stay in the present at the same time. You won, you won the Champions League. Tremendous. You've just lost the league by 1 point, but finished second on 97 points. You played tremendous football. You won the Champions League. You're at the top of your game. There's arguably any other clubs around Europe that's where you are right now. You have the litter of Europe to buy from. We should have gone and got your Camavingas then. I know you've been about 17, 16. Go and buy them. Go and buy these players. Go and get Valverde then. You know, go and buy Valverde if you really wanted him. You know, go and get these players in that you know they're not ready right now, but come 2 to 3 years later, these players are going to be top draw, and they're going to take your club even further. Right? That's what we need to start doing as a football club right now. We need to start doing that as a football club right now, guys, because if we don't start doing that this summer, we need to look at this, change it all up, throw it in the bin what we were doing before, and look at it this summer and go, we need to change what we're doing. FSG need to loosen the purse strings a little bit. They need to loosen the purse strings a little bit. They need to go, look, we can't compete financially with your Cities and PSGs. Of course not. We all agree. We all understand that. Even the biggest FSG out people who hate FSG the most, can't stand them, will agree that we can't compete financially with a City or a PSG, yeah? But we can do it in good ways. We can still buy players that can put us on a level with Man City and PSG. There's players that have gone around Europe this summer. I can't remember. I was watching, I think it was the Football Terrace a couple of weeks ago. And there was a bloke on there, he was a Liverpool fan. Good, he spoke really well. He was a nice man, speaking really, really well, right? But he was talking about FSG and how they're not good enough for the club no more because the average price of player we buy is not high enough anymore. You need to start paying the 70, 80, 90, 100 million for players now because that's what the transfer market is. There's no good players out there for 30, 40 million anymore. And I thought he spoke really well, but I disagreed with him because he's saying this. He said this, but the season before, Real Madrid bought Camavinga for 20-something million. Is it Neuhaus? Who's the one who went to Bayern Munich that everyone wanted? Was it Neuhaus? No, it wasn't Neuhaus. Who was it? Everyone wanted. Was it Gravenberch? Gravenberch was it? Is it Gravenberch or Neuhaus? You guys tell me in the chat. One of them left. I know a lot of fans wanted them, and they went for like £30 million. No money. No money. There is talent out there that can improve your team in the £30 million, the £40 million mark. There's players out there that can improve. Gravenberch, cheers, Cav. There is players out there that can improve your team for £30 million. All this bollocks about, oh, you got to spend 80, 90 million pounds now, and they're the players you have to buy now to live with these players, and FSG ain't going to do that. So the bloke this man spoke really well. He's a Liverpool fan. I'm not going to I'm not dissing him or having a go at him. He spoke really well, intelligent answers and stuff like that. I just didn't agree with that little point because there is players out there. If you've got great scouting, if you've got great scouting, you can buy these players. There's a lot of quality out there. Didn't Bruno Guimaraes go to Newcastle for £38 million? Bruno Guimaraes. Didn't he go to Newcastle like 30 million quid or something like that, wasn't it? These players are out there. Go and buy them. They're there. So I don't believe in that. I think you can buy good quality players. Now, we don't need 80, 90 million players in every position in midfield. We just don't. We don't need that. We don't need that. We just need quality. We just need good players. We don't need look, as I keep saying, in Jurgen Klopp's time as Liverpool manager, we would never say we had a world-class midfield, really, in Jurgen Klopp's time as manager. But we had a midfield that worked a system. Look, won the Premier League and Champions League with a midfield of Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum and Fabinho, and then Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita. I wouldn't call that a world-class midfield. It was a workmanlike midfield. It did a job to enable the system around it to work. And I think that's all we need now. I do think the system at the club works. The system Jurgen Klopp wants to play does work. The problem is that the system around it, the players around it in that system at the moment are not working. Like either their legs are gone, they play too much, or we didn't freshen up the team enough. It's like having a Ferrari, right? You got a Ferrari, the top range Ferrari in the world, yeah. You paid $1 million. You paid £1 million for this Ferrari, yeah. Top drawer, beautiful car. Everything on it is amazing, yeah. But then you put an engine of a Ford Focus in it. So the car works, the car is beautiful, but you put the engine of a Ford Focus in it. It's not going to run very well, is it? But it's still Ferrari, still the best Ferrari in the world, but you just put the wrong engine in it. And that's what Liverpool's system is like at the moment. I think the system we play is tremendous. It's won us things. But the people in that system at the moment are not working, if that makes sense. I'm trying to make an analogy up here on the spot and it's not working. But I'm going to get Savage in here and he can help me because, yeah. Let's get Savage in. You right, my man?
What's going on, bro?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, man. Good, brother. Good.
I don't know how much you heard, but
yeah, I was listening to most of the show. I was trying to edit from now on. I thought I'd do the Italy-England watch along in it, so I thought I'd set the stuff up now.
Sweet. What do you think of what I was saying?
I agree with most of what you said. I will say it's a lot. The scouting thing's a lot harder than people think it is.
Oh, totally.
Because you take into account like the hundreds of other clubs looking at these squads and stuff like that. As I said to you before, that when I thought about being a football agent and stuff like that, you kind of have to do the same thing to do with scouting because the agents do the same thing, innit? That's how you get your client. Pretty much, you scout people as well. But it's because each football club or manager of football club have a different ethos of what they want from their players, and then they relay that to their teams, and then their teams relay that to the scouts and stuff like that. So a lot of the times, I think the press make everything worse than it is.
Yeah,
with people not scouting people, because what will happen is it will always sound like, I know you mentioned it earlier, but I think football fans don't ever seem to get that heated about stuff until they're told that somebody's looking at this club first. I mean, at this player. If you never got told it in the first place, you wouldn't care. So, for example, if Bellingham's been the example today. So, if no one ever said Liverpool's looking at Bellingham, and then we just got him when he was available, or we don't get him, nobody would care. It's like, oh, it's a great signing or not a great signing. But if somebody says we're looking at this player Like if somebody said I was looking at Jota before we got him, and I was a massive fan of Jota before he come to Liverpool, to be fair, but
Yeah.
if everyone said I was looking at him and then he didn't come to us, everyone would be like, Liverpool must have shit scouts. Then how can somebody like Jota not come to Liverpool when he's at Wolves?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but people, I think the journalists have started it, and then the narrative's gone on to the fans, and then some fans are lazy and can't be bothered to check out stuff. So now, apparently, the rumor is we're looking at is the line for everything. That doesn't
Yeah.
even mean anything, bro. Looking at, bro, what do you think everyone's doing? Everyone watches football with their eyes, bro. Like you don't. People forget that, like, if you're looking at a player, that doesn't mean you've gone to the stadium and sat in the pitch with a flipping in a disguise and they're watching him in the crowd. You can watch him on TV. We've got eyes. That's how football fans scout players.
Yeah.
All of us are online like we should buy this player because I watched him in this game. Yeah, that's exactly what everyone else does as well. And then when it goes into proper scouts and that, then you've got like the player scout and you got the tactical scout as well. And they have to align with what they want, because there's pointless going to get a player is dope, but he doesn't fit Klopp's system. It's pointless. Or he's great at everything else, but his personality doesn't fit our squad. It's completely different. I imagine if because obviously Nunez only had 2 seasons. He was injured for a bit the season prior. They had a great season last season. Temperament's been pretty calm in Benfica. Didn't really pick up too much like dissent and stuff like that. But can you imagine if he headbutted somebody when we were scouting him, and then we played against him and he tried to take out Robert or someone like that? You think we would have brought him? Just based off that, Klopp wouldn't buy him?
It's funny, ain't it? Because as you say, when we were first in for Nunez, the only 2 games I saw Nunez play was the 2 games against us. So since he's been at our club now, I've gone back and watched some of Nunez's stuff.
Yeah.
I never saw any of this.
He didn't do any of this. He didn't do any of this
that he's doing right now. And with Darwin as well, I think he just needs to get off social media as well. Like
he's just trying to impress, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
So
a young
of course
lad. He's a young lad, and when you're young,
and that's another thing, man. I'm a bit hardcore and old school about stuff, but let's be honest, man. Trying to tell like 20-year-olds and that to get off social media, it's kind of like,
well, it's there.
Yeah, it's kind of like we will never understand because we wasn't that young when social media was out. So
when I was 20, they weren't really.
It's literally their life. Like I think when I left school, the year I left school, Facebook came out. No, the year I left school, YouTube came out. So it's completely different trying to tell that. Like my son's pretty good with it. He doesn't bother with social media at all, really. But most kids, it's their life now. So telling them that, and you know what I mean, and
it's all they do. I mean,
it's obviously easier for them to connect with the fans and stuff like that way as well. So
I was 20 in the year 2000. So internet was obviously about, but it weren't like what it is now. You know, and you had to have a bit of money to have internet in your house back then as well. So it didn't bother me. And now I'm at an age where like I look at social media and I know what it is. But 20-year-old kids, it's look, all 20-year-olds want to be influencers. It's what they want to be.
Even while they're footballers,
they want to be an influencer.
If you're telling me that you can't look at Jesse Lingard and tell that like
he makes
that's
money,
what he wants to do, and I don't even disrespect him for it, because I feel like everyone's got this narrative where we want footballers to be how we would be if we were footballers, because we're diehard passionate about it. We want everyone to be like some people didn't even like football; they were just good.
Yeah.
Ben White said that none of his family liked football.
No,
Walcott said he didn't know anything about football till he was 11.
Yeah,
but they all ended up in the England squad and that because he's just good at football, bro.
Some people are just born to do things, ain't they? You're just born with ability.
You know what I mean? People don't use that for everyone else. Anthony Joshua didn't start boxing till he was 18.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So he's already lived the whole life without boxing, not giving a shit about it. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'm world champion.
To be fair, saying that with Anthony Joshua, he's done well if he only started boxing.
He's done really well. He's done really well.
Most top drawer boxers start when they're like 8 or 9.
I think by the time it was like a year and a half and then he was in the Olympics.
I mean, that's a freak, ain't it?
So I think people need to step back with that. But I'll tell you what would be good for people. I mean, obviously everyone's not going to be able to do it, but I've done it a couple of times just because my cousin does scouting. But if you ever get to go and just shadow a scout and see what they do, not the Sunday League ones, because they just turn up at your Sunday League pitch with a dog and just pretend to walk past the pitch and that. But it's actually hard, man, because he said to me, like, while we're watching this game, like, pick out who you think's good for the squad and who blah blah blah. Every person I picked out, he was like, nah. And I was like, what? The one geezer just scored 2 goals, he's got a brace and they got an assist. Nah, it's not what we want at the squad and that. Because some people want to mold people into a certain squad and that. So don't get me wrong, it's variables at Liverpool from everywhere, because whatever manager we're gonna have different scouting system. So if we had Mourinho at Liverpool now, we'd be scouting different people to what Klopp would want. Mourinho would take the older players, like he'd buy older players right now. He'd have everyone the same age as Thiago. He wouldn't care.
It's like I said, you got to when you're at the elite level, you've got to buy for the present and the future.
Yeah.
So you buy for the present that you're in now, and then you look down the line and you go right. These players, what I've got, they're gonna get me to where I want in 2 years' time. But then in 2 years' time, we need players that come in, interchange, that are at quality, so we can keep going forward. And there's no we don't come down a rung of the ladder. We stay where we are. And I'll give it to Real Madrid. That's what they've done. They're that tremendous midfield. That midfield three, Modric, Cruz, and Casemiro. Well, yeah, they won 5 Champions Leagues. That midfield three,
bro.
I mean,
Real Madrid have.
It's a tremendous midfield three. And then they went, right, that's our present, but we need to future-proof this. Camavinga, Tuchemeni. I mean, it's at a level no one else is at, apart from Man City, probably. And
it's almost impossible. If Real Madrid want you properly, you can't really do anything about it, bro. Like, the way they set up, and because they have Real Madrid A, Real Madrid B, and then Barcelona have Real Madrid B, who can't get promoted, they'll just take their players, bro. It's like it's like Liverpool having another team in the Championship. Well, of course, we'll just watch them play. As soon as they get good enough, we'll take them, and you can't do nothing about it. And then when they can't take somebody, they'll just spend big, and it works out for them most of the time. But nobody ever talks about the Real Madrid players that didn't work out, and there's loads of them, like Huntelaar and all that, bro. These things, even Robben at Real Madrid wasn't incredible, bro. Like, Modric has lasted a long time, to be fair.
Like Man City, though, Real Madrid and Man City can afford to make mistakes, can't they? They can just get Huntelaar in, and then it don't work, right? It's no one talks about it because they go and buy
Huntelaar, Van Nistelrooy, all these incredible players and that.
They just go and pay the next season, don't they? And then you don't, and you forget about it. Well, unfortunately, in Liverpool, they can't afford to do that. So when a player's failing, they're there the following season. So you still think about it. I mean, we've only literally just
of course, I got a point. Fabinho didn't work at Real Madrid either. It was there for a season, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and we didn't we've only just got rid of Karius, really, off the club books.
Yeah, just.
I mean, that should have not been the case. He should have gone time ago. It shouldn't have been loans or anything like that. We should have just cut him from his contract and let him go.
Well, I will say one thing. I did want to say this before when it was mentioned a few weeks ago.
Yeah, cool.
This is just like insight I know about, like, not players' contracts, but overall of contracts and that. Because when somebody was talking about, might have been on Copish, I think they were like just bin Oxen for Naby, and somebody on here said it as well. It wasn't you. I don't know. It was maybe Zabiri or somebody like that. And I'm like, do you think that works? That's not how football works, bro. You can't just bin people. They have a contract, bro. You want to go to court, bro? It's like,
I mean,
you have to have.
You can.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
With the likes of Karius, I think because his contract wouldn't have been that much, and with everything going on, they could have just had a conversation with him and said, "Look, I think it'd be better."
And there you have it. That's it. If you notice that it always says mutual.
Yeah,
it's a mutual. Just means that, like, we want you off the books, and you're probably ready to agree to do it now.
Yeah, you can't just go to them like, Karius, come in the room, we terminate your contract.
Because no one wanted him.
Yeah, you just got to go, look, it's not working for you here. We need you, we need to get you off the books. We want you to have a good future somewhere else. We don't want to just do loan deals and you come back the following season. And it's just not good for you. It's not good for us. It's easy just to part our ways now mutually. We'll pay out your contract, so you got that, and we'll help you try and find.
On top of that as well, like, some people will like slap a loan fee on, send them out on loan for their end of their contract and that, and then they just move on. Usually they end up at that same club, but like. And this is not against them, by the way, because I agree with it. Why would FSG do that, bro? Why would I pay you? I'm going to work out the money to the end of your contract, or the money I pay you a week. Now, the money I pay you a week, yes, you've got the standard amount I pay you, but you're not going to get none of them bonuses because you're not playing. So I'd rather just pay you that than pay you these millions to kick you out the contract. Yeah, they're just trying to be good businessmen. So you think that
it depends what you're on, ain't it?
Yeah, because with Ox, that's down to an injury thing. So they're probably a bit more
He's on
gentle with
140
him.
grand a week. They ain't going to pay out that contract. They ain't going to pay out someone who's on 140 grand a week. That's mad.
Yeah, and it's a bit more gentle, isn't it? Like, I don't know why
Yeah.
people always want the managers to be savages and that. You know, when everyone gets a manager, you know what they're like. We know what Mourinho's like. You know what Pep's like. You know what Simeone's like. You know what Klopp's like. And if you think that while Ox has got his hamstring torn apart, Klopp's gonna go, come in on your crutches. I need to talk to you, bro. You need to get out of the club. You need to get out of the club, bro, because you're just wasting space. And he ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. You're right. You need to fuck off now, don't you? No more.
And another thing is with the settlements, what people talk about, like speaking to them, you do know that, like, usually what happens is the representative, so in our case, it would be like Julian Ward or someone, the representative from Klopp, because it wouldn't be Klopp himself straight away, he'll speak to you on a personal level. You think that, like, they're going to speak to the geezer's agent, and then the agent's going to be like, well, I get 10% of this contract, so the payout, nah, I'd rather just get paid weekly and get my cut. I'm not looking to get this shit payout, and then the geezer only gives me a bit of money, because that's a different thing. A payout compared to the actual contract is a different thing. The agent is getting a percentage of the contract, innit? The payout's a complete different thing, bro.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we've got no club now. And remember, if the player doesn't have a club, the agent doesn't have a club. And if the agent doesn't have a club, he's already making less money than the player.
Yeah,
so then it goes in swings and roundabouts. But you can get rid of somebody out of a contract only if it's extenuating circumstances. Them circumstances have to be like, there's something in the contract that you're just not allowed to do. You know what I mean? Like, you're not allowed to do this. You're not. If somebody's, I don't know, something, you attacked a fan or something like that, and in the contracts, like, you can't physically do anything to a fan. You can use your contract, or you wasn't turning up for appearances and training and stuff. You can get rid of people for not turning up to training if you put it in your contract. You can do that, but who's going to do that, really? So it's a bit mad.
Big up Jamrock. Sorry, Jamrock. I know you sent this a while ago, and I starred it.
Big up Jamrock.
I do apologise, Jamrock. I was just, because I was talking, I forgot. City made back the 87 million on Grealish. That they did. This was one of the summers that City actually, I think they're the net spent kings this summer, ain't they, City? Money in summer. United come out and said they can't keep the level of spending going forward. Jude won't go for that. We'll get back to the Jude stuff.
Oh yeah, that and with the one thing 100% no, with the Jude not going to any other Premier League club from Birmingham, it was his choice. He didn't want to. That's 100% thing I know. He didn't.
Say that again, mate. Sorry, I zoned out.
With Jude, because obviously he was dope at 16 at Blues. And everyone was like, why didn't any of the clubs buy him from there? He didn't want to go to them. None of them. He's literally, you know how everyone says that Jude sounds more grown up than he is when he's talking. That is literally how he is, bro. He's that kind of kid. He's like, I want to go prove myself elsewhere first. I want to build up this to do this, and I don't want to go to a club and not get on the pitch. He's literally that kid.
Yeah, fair enough.
You don't get them that often, but he is like that, man. And to be fair, he done exactly what he said. He said, I want to leave Blues. I want to go and experience football somewhere else, build up my reputation there, come back and stuff like that. Problem is that no one's worth the money. Like, even the money that Mbappe or Neymar and all that's worth, no one's worth it.
Nice.
But it's inflation and how football is now, and sadly, people like, not Grealish himself, but people like that fucked up the market, bro.
Oh yeah,
and he's English. Grealish is English, remember? So now, if he's 100 mil, everyone's like, all right.
Do you know, messed up the transfer market? It all goes back to like 10, 15, 20 years back. Real Madrid. And then they're the ones who come out and say English Premier League is the one messing everything up. It's a joke. Guys, while I've got over 70 people in the chat right now, I just want to tell everyone I have got a brand new YouTube channel. It's a podcast-only channel. If you guys like watching the After Dark podcast on Sunday nights, it's got on its own channel now. It's the Jamie Phillips, the After Dark podcast channel, guys. I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. I've got 77 subscribers on there already. And I only uploaded this channel over 24 hours ago. So it's doing really well. I would love it if you guys could go over and subscribe to that channel as well. It's going to be all podcasts, comedy stuff, pub talk, all that sort of thing. Me and the boys. If you've not watched the After Dark podcast, there's 2 episodes on this channel right now. Go and watch them. They're hilarious. We have a great time on there, chatting about anything and everything. And Yeah, but you can only now see that on the brand new channel, guys. So I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. So the link is in the chat right now, guys. So go over there.
Ash is funny, man.
Yeah, it's risky. And and go over there, guys, and subscribe to the brand new channel, guys. Let's try and get that to 100 subscribers before Sunday if we can, which would be amazing, as I only uploaded this channel over 24 hours ago. So there's the link, guys. Press on that link. Go and subscribe to that channel, guys. And that is where you're going to see the After Dark podcast every Sunday night at 10 p.m. And there's going to be other podcasts on that show as well. I want to do a pub talk one. We're going to do a beat the clock challenges. I would also do some movie reviews because a lot of people have asked me what I think of certain movies and stuff like that. And I don't want to do it on my football channel. So I'll be doing it over there as well as movie reviews. So go and subscribe to it, guys. The link is in the chat right now. Go and press on that link and go and subscribe to that channel. Big thanks for everyone. I appreciate it. And while we're all here on this channel as well, guys, please go and subscribe to Savage's channel as well. Savage Talks Football, Savage Talks Wrestling, and Hugo Online. Please go and subscribe to them. And then leave a like on this video on this right now. We're almost one away from 50 likes. So please let's get them likes up, please, guys. It's free to do.
These comments are funny, man. I love the chat, man. These like curious me, bro.
Yeah, Triple X rated. I don't want.
Yeah. Cav made a good point there. That's literally what I was trying to say about like it's always the same clubs: Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona. This is it, bro. And obviously England's a bit arrogant, so we always just assume that everyone wants to play for the Premier League club. No one gives a shit outside of England, bro. These kids who grow up in Spain and that don't give a shit about the Premier League.
Yeah. It's true, ain't it? It's true. Hugo, did you negotiate a percentage?
Oh, flipping out the stories, man. Flipping out. Cav's the one with the stories, bro. Trust me.
Big up Anfield Reds. If Jude flopped at the World Cup, would you still sign him? Yeah. I mean, look, going back to the Jude Bellingham stuff, guys. So, I watched Jude Bellingham play quite a bit now. And he's an exceptional talent. You can't get away from it. The man's an exceptional talent. What is he, 19, 20 years old?
Yeah, 19.
I don't blame Borussia Dortmund for putting 150 million on his head.
No, it's trying to press him out, isn't it?
It's actually sensible by them because they don't want to lose him. They know he's a quality footballer. He's their best player, probably. They had Haaland the season before. They can't afford to keep. Look, we all know what Dortmund is. In Germany, every club is fan owned. And it's 49-1, ain't it, or something like that, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So every club is fan owned. Bayern Munich own German football because all the other clubs are fan owned. They can't afford to get to Bayern Munich's level. No one can get taken over and catch Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich can do what they want. They can go and poach. And I mean, Bayern Munich 2 seasons ago went to Leipzig, who were their nearest challenger at this time, and poached their manager and their centre back.
Bro, we already know about them, man. You seen what they've done to Goethe and Lewandowski, bro.
Yeah, and then Borussia Dortmund under Klopp was their nearest competitors because Klopp won back-to-back titles. By the way, the only club that has won a German title in the last 11 years is Borussia Dortmund, and the manager was Jurgen Klopp. I should say that. And
Klopp should remember. Klopp's rubbish, remember.
And I look at it and like they can do what they want. They bought Klopp was their nearest competitor, and he went, you know what? We like Mario Götze and Lewandowski. They're coming to us. And they literally went to they played the Champions League final against each other. I think Götze was already playing for Bayern Munich at the time, wasn't he? And Lewandowski was but Götze was at Dortmund the season before. And I think Götze went after he scored the winning goal in the World Cup, didn't he? Final.
Yep.
And went that season. And they're looking at it and like, right, we want Lewandowski now because he's the best finisher in this country and he's the best finisher in Europe at the time. We want him now. So Lewandowski played his final game for Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich in the Champions League final. Then a few weeks later became a Bayern Munich player. How is this not messed up?
The worst thing about it is they don't even offer them a lot of money either.
No.
People who go to Bayern Munich and that they don't ever pay much money for them.
They're not on monster wages.
Yeah.
That's what I keep saying. Mane didn't leave for much more than he was on at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he's on 450 grand a week for some reason. I think he's on like 240. Yeah, much more than he was earning at Liverpool.
Oh yeah, Muller said he wanted to. He said he wanted to. he said he wanted to know what it was like to play in a cold night in Burnley, bro. This geezer's a donut, bro. I love Muller, man. He's so good, man.
Yeah, Thomas Muller's a man. I like
you see what's going on with Thingy as well? The Atletico Madrid Griezmann contract.
It's mad, ain't it? He's not allowed to play more than 60 minutes or something, is he?
Bro, that is the messed up contract, bro.
If he plays more than 60 minutes, Atletico Madrid have to pay 80 million or something like that, ain't it?
So they've been taking him off at the 59th minute.
So they take him off at the 55th minute.
The only game I seen him stay longer on was the game what I watched last week on Real Madrid game. Otherwise, from that, I think it was 59, 58, 57, just constantly in the last few games. That's cheeky, that man. Very cheeky, bro. But
it's madness. So when I look at Dortmund and what they want to do, they're looking around Europe, what everyone else does. They're like, you know what? We don't want Jude going anywhere. He's our best player. We know how good he is. We know how good everyone in Europe thinks he is. You know, everyone in Europe wants him. You know, Liverpool want him. Real Madrid want him. City want him. United probably want him. You know, Barcelona will probably be interested in him. All the top teams in Europe will be looking at him. He's a top talent. He's a good-looking lad. He's young. He's got commercial revenue in it because he's a good-looking young. He's going to make money off that as well. All this stuff goes into football. It's just not the ability of the player. It's everything. And it's like Salah. That's why Salah's contract was always going to be more than Sadio Mane's, because Salah's his face is planted everywhere. You know, it just makes money off it. And that's going to be like with Jude. So I don't blame Borussia Dortmund. Do I think he goes for 150? So it's 150 million euros, which is about 131 million pounds. I don't think he will go for 100. I think he will go for less than that. But
I don't think anyone's going to buy him for that much.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think anyone's going to come in for 150 million euros. So
you start high though, and it's business.
Yeah, you start high and you work low. Yeah, that's how you do it. But Real Madrid go look at it and go, right, we got Camavinga, we got Tchouaméni. Do we need another young midfielder? Because that, you know, if you have a midfield of Bellingham, would Bellingham, Tchouaméni and Camavinga work as a midfield three? I don't think so.
Only two of them could play.
I think. And that's so young as a midfield as well. And they might be looking at it and thinking, we might just need a bit more experience in that midfield, like a 24-year-old or something like that. That's still young, but a bit more experience and can give us a little bit more in that midfield. And plus, are they going to spend 150 million euros? Because they're in the same exchange. So the exchange is the same to them. So 150 million euros is a lot.
Course made a good point. I was literally going to say that. This is how the Sancho thing started with Manu. And Manu just said, we're not paying that much for him. And the money just kept dropping.
I think United went to 90 million, didn't they?
Started at 120, I think.
Yeah. What is it? Well, Dortmund wanted 120, didn't they? Or something like that?
Started at 120, ended at 75.
Yeah. And Man United that first season only went to 90 million. And Dortmund went, no. And then Dortmund are very good at this. They gave them a date that the price has to be met. And if it's not met that day, they move on. And Man United just couldn't go over 90 million. And then the following season, he went for 75. So the thing is, though, if Bellingham has a good season, if Bellingham has a good World Cup, that 150 million is not going to drop.
No, it won't. It won't. I think. I think if he ever comes to Liverpool, he will be Liverpool's most expensive player ever, but it won't be that much money.
No.
I think just under 100 mil is where FSG will stop, I think. And then, obviously it's based on the age and the age of him, the promise of him. And I think his contract, I don't know when his contract runs out, 2025 or some bullshit.
Yeah, he's got a couple more years yet. Kev says to survive 130 million Jude, you need him to become England's star boy and claim most of his image rights. I'm not sure about how much commercial potential he has.
Yeah,
I mean, if he became England's number one boy, then he'd have all the commercial.
Well, England like to run with the finger, don't they? England like the clean image.
Yeah.
like Harry Kane and that, and he's
That's why
literally
That's why Grealish don't play for England.
yeah, that's exactly the
Well,
reason. Bro.
plus he shouldn't anyway because he's not good enough.
Grealish
But,
was playing for England in the early 2000s, and that he'd definitely be in the squad, bro, because it was different then. He'd be like Beckham in it, but
all the pretty boys in the same team, ain't it?
Mm.
But yeah, that's what. Yeah, Jude. Look, I think I have a feeling he stays at Borussia Dortmund next season. I don't think he goes anywhere.
I don't know.
Because he's
I'll
still
answer that after I see how they're doing the Champions League. I'll be able to tell you, mate. Because
he's only 19 still. He's so young.
Yeah.
And
I don't think he cares as much as everyone else is caring over.
No,
he
neither.
knows, man. He's too smart.
I've seen him in interviews. He doesn't look like he's desperate to leave.
They asked him about Man U like 2 weeks ago, and he looked pissed when they asked him. He's like, I'm playing for Dortmund. I'm trying to get through to the Champions League stages. And that.
I don't think he looks desperate to leave the club.
He's not desperate.
I think when you look at Jude Bellingham, he's a 19-year-old boy who's more mature than a normal 19-year-old is. And he looks at it and thinks, he looks mature on the pitch as well. When you see him moving on the pitch, how he moves on the pitch, how he plays on the pitch, he doesn't play with that naive 19-year-old way, does he? He looks mature on the pitch and he talks maturely and that. And when you look at him, when I hear him, it's like he's not a man that's desperate to leave. So if you're not desperate to leave, and Borussia Dortmund know he's not desperate to leave, then they're not going to sell him cheap. And if no one comes in for him next summer, I don't see Jude going, right, I want to go hand in a transfer request. I don't see that happening. And he'll stay there next summer and he'll play another season. And then the problem is then Jude's got a year left on his deal. And that's when the vultures come in.
Yeah.
And that's how the top teams might be looking at it. I think his contract, we're going to 2023 soon.
You have 2 years left.
And if you've got 2 years left in his deal, the top clubs might be thinking, right, 150 million. Nah, that's all right. Stay where you are. And then come when he stays at Dortmund for that another year, then he's got a year left on his deal. That's when the vultures come in and they go, right.
Because obviously everyone does that thing usually where like they start off in England and then towards the end of their career or their prime, they leave and go to Real Madrid. You're just doing it backwards. He's probably going to finish his career in England, and for him is like, what do I have to rush? If he finishes his career at 34, he's still got 15 years left, bro. He's laughing. He's laughing, bro.
Big up Ash with a big super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. Under FSG, we've been a 30 million season net spend club. I don't see who gets sold next season a buy. Do we accept an offer for Kelleher? Simicast, big money if somebody bids for Jota. Does buy to sell change next summer? That is a great question. Now,
Jota's never leaving Liverpool, bro.
Jota ain't going anywhere.
I don't think Simicast either is. I know everyone keeps talking about this thing, but he's not unhappy at the club, bro. You see how happy he is, bro.
Do you know a player that can leave next summer? And people might go, "What, Jamie? He just signed a new deal." I wouldn't be shocked if Mo left.
Yeah, it'd be smart business from FSG.
It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. And no one's mentioned that. I know a lot of people have been saying, Ash, big up to Ash, and like we do look to recruit money what we buy, which is a fair point. We do. We always have done under the club. It don't bother me as much as it bothers a lot of people. I don't get too bothered by it. But when you look at the players we got at the club now, and we're going for the players we need to buy into this club, you've got to look at valuation. Who's about? You're not going to sell Van Dijk, in my opinion. You're not going to sell Alisson. So I know he only just signed a brand new deal this summer, but if you go sell anyone,
Sorry, Edward's crazy, bro. There's no way Man City would ever buy Trent, bro. No way, bro. Never, bro.
The only club, the only player I can see FSG looking at, if FSG look through their books, look at all the players, recruitment team look at all the players, we need to make money back from someone. They go look at Mo. He's 30.
Yep.
He's just signed a big contract. And FSG be like, we can get money for Mo. You could probably still get 80 million for Mo, even at 30 now.
Of course you can, especially when he just signed a new contract.
Yeah. And people go, right.
I mean, Don Van Dijk's got a point, bro. When Messi leaves PSG, bro.
Yeah.
New stars are not new stars, man.
Mo would be the one I'd be worried about if we have to go down that lane. Now, what Ash also says is, but can we change that? Do we need to sell players now? Now, we know the club are making a lot of money revenue-wise. I've always been on this thing about the revenue thing, though. Oh, we made 600 million. I've always said, but how much of it goes out of the club? And how much is left for transfers? That is never, ever printed anywhere. You never see that printed anywhere. So if we're making 600 million, if 400 of something million of that is going out of the club on wages and transfers. Because remember, the transfers we do, we're still paying for years forward because we do installment deals.
Yeah.
So then how much is left in the tank for transfers? Now, some people go, oh, you got 200 million left that can do on the transfers. What pays the wages? What goes towards wages and stuff like that? It's all in that. We are, you know, when you
We
get
got some of the highest wages as well.
Yeah, you know, when you get people at work, they say they work, their money is check to check. You know, they work check to check. That's what their money is. They get their money. They don't really have savings, so they work check to check. Yeah, bit like myself, like a lot of people. Liverpool are a bit like that. Liverpool as a club are a bit like that, but we work check to check. So if we got this much money, we'll spend this much money, but there's nothing else to go on top of that. But we have to keep some behind so we don't lose money. That's the way the club is. So I've said it for a while now. They want to be a commercial empire like Man United are. FSG have said this themselves. They look at Man United commercial, what they do commercial revenue-wise. They want to be exactly like that. So
we would have caught up with them by now if it wasn't for COVID.
Yeah. For the last 2 seasons, I think we've beat them this season. Like this season just gone, last season just gone. Our commercial revenue was higher than Man United for the first time in the Premier League ever.
Yeah.
But you've got to keep doing that for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And I think that's what the club want to do. And then eventually you can go and spend that money. You know, you can go and get a £150 million player and give him the wages he wants because the revenue keeps coming in. Remember, Man United, the Glazers don't spend a penny of Man United.
They're in debt. I seen their net thingy yesterday.
Did you see it? It's terrible.
But
right?
FJ, bro, he's laughing at that, but I'm 100% correct about the wages, bro. We got high wages, bro. Third in the Prem, I think. So
yeah, our wages.
You're laughing at that, bro, but you're not looking at the bonuses and all that as well, bro.
Yeah, our wages, when bonuses come onto that way, it's like when we won the Premier League that year, because of the bonuses on their wages, our wages was the highest in the country. It was higher in Man City's and higher in Man United's. Man United's right now, when I saw that thing you were talking about on Twitter the other day, Man United's got the highest wage bill in the country now, ain't they? With the players they bought this summer.
Yeah.
Man City are second, I believe. And then I believe Liverpool are third.
Yep.
I believe Liverpool are third. Liverpool spend more on wages than people think. I keep saying this about wages, though. Everyone thinks some clubs, every player's on 300 grand a week.
It's a myth, man.
300 grand a week is an anomaly. It's not as much. Like, if Mo got the 400 grand a week he really wanted from Liverpool when he was moaning about money, if he got the actual 400 grand a week, he would have been the 7th highest paid player in Europe.
Yeah.
7th highest paid player in Europe on 400 grand a week. I don't think everyone thinks everyone's got a team of like people on 300 and 400 grand a week.
No, trust me, because it's like I think ain't Saka on like 30 at Arsenal.
Yeah, Jota's on 90 grand a week.
90, yeah. People think
Diaz
it's like
Diaz is on 90 grand a week.
I think Nat Phillips is on like 50, 60.
I don't know Nat Phillips got that deal, but big up.
He deserves it, man. He got us Champions League football, bro.
I think he was on that deal before we even played him.
Yeah, but he deserves it, bro. He's Nat Phillips, bro. He deserves it just for being Nat Phillips, bro.
But yeah, bonuses go on, and
I reckon he took freaking Reece Williams' wages and added on to his, man. I think they don't pay Reece.
No, they just have Reece grand.
I think they pay for Reece's lunch and then Nat Phillips gets all the wages.
Yeah, Reece, we'll pay for your lunch and dinner and hotel costs, but you're not getting paid. You're not getting paid.
Yeah, some of the incentives for some clubs are like mad, though, innit? Like, I think I don't mind the appearance. I think the appearance incentives. I also think that one's a dumb one. I know that everyone does it, so it's not like a Liverpool thing, but I also think it's stupid. I'm not paying you to turn up. You talking about? If you play 10 games in a row, you can get extra. What? I already pay you like hundreds of grand a week, bro. What are you talking about, mate? Wages, bro. That's what it is, man. It's because they get taxed so damn much on it, so it always sounds like this enormous amount of money. As soon as you get taxed, bro, then most of that's gone.
Exactly. Oh, is it? I think footballers get taxed 40%, don't they?
40%, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So you need to go play for Monaco, bro.
This is why I get irritated when people say, "Oh, footballers get paid too much." People don't like football. Oh, footballers get paid too much.
They get paid a lot of money, but it's not too much.
Do you know how much tax they pay?
Mate, I know YouTubers who get paid more than footballers, bro. So
the tax they pay is,
and I'm on about easily as well. Like
YouTube
take a certain amount of money on that, but
you're getting paid 100 grand a week, yeah, 100 grand a week, dead on, right? That's what you get paid in your contract, yeah. That's not what you're taking home.
No,
because 40% of that goes to the tax man. So you're taking what 60 grand? You're taking 60 grand now. I'm saying you're only taking 60 grand back. 60 grand a week's ridiculous.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
40 grand of it's gone to the tax man.
If I'm honest, I don't ever think that like
mad.
I don't understand when performances come in, people start talking about money and that. What the fuck's that got to do with anything, bro? You know what I mean? I don't do that at McDonald's when man take longer than that. You get paid this much an hour. Hurry up, bro. Just shut up, man.
FJ, I know you want to come on the show. I'll tell you what, I'll get you on the show next week, yeah? Are you on Twitter? Follow me on Twitter and message me, yeah? And I'll get you on the show next week if you want to. If you want to have your say, my man, I don't mind people coming on and having debates and say. All I say is if anyone wants to come on the channel and have debates with me and Savage or debates with the boys about anything Liverpool, yeah, you're more than welcome. All we ever ask is just be polite. Just be polite, be friendly, be nice, like we are. Have an adult conversation, and and we're fine. We don't mind if you want to bombard us with facts. You know that.
Why is this guy cutting promos, bro?
I don't.
I'll shake up the room. I sound like a super villain.
I don't mind people coming on and going, Jamie, you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong, and bombarding me with fact after fact after. I don't mind. I don't care.
Jay, you know who speaks in a villain language? I don't know why. I was just like, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know the girl of you know the sensei of Cobra Kai. Why does she speak like a Power Rangers villain?
Does, don't you?
Oh my god, bro! I was with my missus in.
It's a full stop after every word, though, ain't there?
Bro, she's got the most English accent, bro. She sounds like a super. Like when I was growing up watching Power Rangers and that's how all the villains sound.
She's great though. She's great. Cobra Kai talk will be on the After Dark podcast, by the way.
Oh, bro, she's incredible, bro. I couldn't stop laughing, man. I was like, why is she speaking like that, man? Oh, come on, Chris Eubank, that's my guy, man.
I love Chris Eubank. So as I say, guys, little break from the talk. 1 second, as I just say about my other channel again. As I say, I've got another channel that's a podcast-only channel. Because as you know, we did 2 episodes of the After Dark podcast on Sunday nights at 10 p.m, which we all love. We enjoy it. I think the first episode went 3 hours. We almost went 4 hours last Sunday night because we were just having so much fun. Dope, it was such a good show. There's me, Savage, Cav, Rods, John Moore, Stephen Stubbs, and other guests that come on as well. But Zabiri, but we're like the main bunch, and then we have extra guests that come on as well. And we just have a great laugh where we have a great chat, just guy chat, you know what I mean? We don't really talk about football. We try and talk anything but football, just have a good chat about life and all that. And it's a good time. That's got its own platform now. That's got its own channel because I don't want to mix too much. This is a football channel at the end of the day, mostly Liverpool football channel, and I want to keep it to that. So I've done another channel, the Jamie Phillips After Dark podcast, guys. Please go and subscribe to that. You can only see the After Dark podcast over there. I'll put the link in.
Jay, I'll tell you what to do, bro. Not now. When you finish here, add the other channel to this channel in the bottom. You know where you can you can put people's channels to click on. It's easy for everyone, then they can just go down and click on it.
Well, I'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
Go.
The link says some wild stuff, man. So we had to move it.
Yeah. The link's in the chat right now. Yeah, because this is a monetized channel as well. I don't want to put this channel too much under threat with some of the stuff we talk about. Yeah. If you want to see Liz Trust tits, then you got to go on this channel, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's the link, guys. There's the link, guys. Yeah, go on that link right now, guys, and subscribe to the new channel. Big up to everyone who has so far.
If Cav ever comes on in a paddling pool, I'm gonna lose my damn mind, bro. That is hilarious, man.
We've got 81 subscribers on that channel so far. So big up to everyone who has subscribed.
Big up, man.
Let's try and get to 100 subscribers for Sunday. I only started this channel, uploaded it 24 hours ago. So yeah, we're going to talk all things on. We talk about whatever, and you guys in the chat can dictate where the show goes as well with your questions and stories and things like that. So it's a great time. So make sure you go and subscribe to it. The link's in the chat, as you can see right now. Hit that link, subscribe, come back to this show, and we'll carry on the chat, guys.
I got so much work to do today, man. Flipping out, man.
What have you got on? Editing?
Are
you doing the watch along, did you say?
Yeah, I'm doing England, Italy watch along, 7:30. I think I'm on with months and a bit. Yeah, 2.
Oh yeah.
Then I got some reaction videos in between. I think he just needed somebody to be on with him because I don't know if he's got anyone on. So
he
messaged me just.
Yeah, he said at 2:30 because he messaged me about it, but I've got to do a school run at 2:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
And then a few videos in between, and I got a couple meetings online to do, man. But
fun,
man. So fun.
Go for the Savage. Don't forget, guys, go and subscribe to Savage Talks Football, guys, and go and watch his watch along at 7:30.
Yeah. If you don't want to do the watch along, just put the notification on. I think that should be already scheduled out now. So
yeah, do you want to put your link in put your link and channel in the chat if you want, mate?
Yeah, I'll do it through the YouTube side because
you're modded, so you can do it. I'll smash Jude if I need to get. Jesus Christ, Aaron.
Flipping hell, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you Christian Bank does sound like a superhero, good.
He's hilarious, man.
You guys are beautiful. So yeah, links in the chat, guys, and for the new channel, guys, the After Dark podcast channel, go over there and subscribe to it, and then Savage will put a link to his Savage Talks Football channel. Go and subscribe to that as well, guys. You can watch the watch along for the England game later because it'd be more fun listening to Savage and probably watching it.
Yeah, bro, because what's going to happen is I'm going to end up not talking about the match at all, bro. I already know, bro, because they bored the shit out of me. So
Ghana and Brazil's on 7:30 as well. Some good games on.
Yeah, I've slapped it in the chat now, so it should come up.
There you go, guys. It's in the chat right now. Go and hit that. Go and subscribe to Savage's Football channel and make sure you're there at 7:30.
Need to fix that Will Smith picture, man. It flipping kills me every time. For fuck's sake.
I love it. No way Jude chose Liverpool over Madrid, says OBG. I don't think he's chosen anyone over anyone yet.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good point, though. So if Jude has got, here's one then. So if Jude has got, say, Borussia Dortmund accept an offer from Man City, Liverpool, and Real Madrid, and it's up to Jude to choose. Where does he go? Taking all sentiment off with Liverpool fans as well.
Liverpool.
Still think he goes to Liverpool.
Where?
Now I think his old man's a fan, ain't he?
That's how I knew about Jude in the first place. His dad played in the same football league as me. His dad's sick at football, bro. He was top goal scorer, man, for like 3 seasons in a row. He's sick, man.
And his sons are there as well.
Yeah, his dad's a G. He's like, his dad is in like lower league football. His dad's a legend, bro. I'm not even joking. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, go over there, like, yeah, of course, yeah. Savage is smashing it, mate. Yeah, if he's got the 3 clubs to choose now, I don't think Jude's all about the money either. He's even come out and said that himself, ain't he?
Chances are it's Man City or Liverpool, man.
At the end of the day, 200 grand a week and 300 grand a week. I mean, are you noticing it in your pay? It's not like in our bank accounts when, you notice a little bit is down or missing or something like that. If you're on 200 grand a week or 300 grand a week, are you really noticing it? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I've always thought, unless it's a massive discrepancy, unless it's like you don't get 200 grand a year or 500 grand at somewhere else. But if it's 200 grand, 250 or 300 grand somewhere else, it's not a massive discrepancy. So yeah, that'd be my only thing. I think Liverpool would offer the lowest wage out of the 3 clubs.
I'm about to say that.
I think Real Madrid would offer the highest because even Man City have a thing where they go to.
Yeah.
but Real Madrid don't. I think Real Madrid would offer the highest wages, City second,
Mm.
us third. But I don't know. I think he'd want to play for Liverpool out of everyone.
And it depends how long he wants to stay out of England for as well. If you're thinking
Yeah.
about it on a personal level, bro, he's already been out the country for like 3 years. Yeah, 16, 3 years has been out already. Signs another contract for 3 or 5 years. 8 years out of England. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know.
Mark's got a good point here. Big up Mark with this as well. Arthur was coming back from a foot injury, which kept him out of game to Juventus, and we will see his quality similar to genius
facts.
controller, who
facts.
Xavi and Messi wanted back, and Jurgen will make him. Yeah. There was a thing with Messi. I see a thing with Messi talking about, and he rates Arthur Melo, don't he?
Yeah.
If Messi rates Arthur Melo, I'm not. You know. Yeah, he was upset that he left Barcelona in the first place. He said, didn't he? He didn't want him to leave Barcelona because he's a very good midfielder. I will say with Arthur Melo as well. What he's doing is only going to make him look good in Klopp's eyes. He's doing He's doing double training. I believe he played 2 under-21 games back to back.
Yeah.
And then he went training. He's employed his own physio. He's a chef to cook for him, a dietitian. Because he wants to play for that shows what Klopp liked. That shows ambition that he wants to play for this football club. He hasn't come.
He's done all the right things, man.
He hasn't come because it's just Liverpool and he wants to. He just wants to hang out at Liverpool and stuff like that, or or come for the money or anything like that. He wants to play for the football club, and he's making every single effort to play for the football club. And Klopp will like that. That's what Klopp wants. He wants them kind of players. And, if he settles down and plays really well, he might. I know people have said like he won't be bought, but if he settles down and plays well, he will be bought. There's no doubt about it.
Bro, I got a bounce here, but I just realized.
Kate got injured.
Flip said, Monster didn't tell me what he wanted to speak about. I just clicked on the thumbnail. For fuck's sake, man.
What is it?
Naby, innit?
Oh, is it because he got
injured? I don't care about Naby, bro. I care about him as a Liverpool footballer, bro, but I don't care about him that much, bro. Like, for me, all of that's done, innit, bro? It's going to be quick, bro. I'll be out there.
Vic loves this. Arthur Melo don't want to come the next candle. Vic absolutely loves that thing I said about Origi.
That line you said, yeah.
It's true. It's a candle in a power cup. Oh, God.
What are you doing the rest of the day, bro?
I got to go and get the kids, get them home. It's Friday night, so I'll get them a Mackey's for their dinner. Get myself a cheeky one because you should. And then, that is, and then probably just sit and chill and watch telly with the kids and have a laugh.
Yeah.
And I've got a boy. So if you're a dad and you've got a boy and you don't have a wrestling match, are you a dad?
No, you got to RKO them at every opportunity you can, bro. That's standard.
He loves it. Man. He loves it. We get the table.
They love it, man. Yeah.
We get the table out the way in the living room. He goes off the sofa, drops an elbow, a leg drop, splash.
I can tell the kids that don't get to play on that, bro. The pussies, bro.
He loves it. He loves it. If you're a dad and you've got a boy and you don't wrestle with them, are you a dad?
Exactly.
All right, guys. Big up to everyone in chat. Thank you for coming on today's show. It was a good show, actually. Real good show.
Yeah,
good numbers and that. And I'll be back Sunday, guys. So I'm not around tomorrow because I'm seeing Penny in hospital tomorrow. So I won't be around tomorrow, guys. But I'll be back Sunday on the other channel for the After Dark podcast. So, guys, remember,
I can't believe it's nearly back already, man. It's gone quick. I know,
it's gone so quick. Please go and subscribe to the other channel, guys.
Yeah, if any of you want to come along on a watch along later on, I'll sync it up and that. So if you want to jump in, just sync up your thingy because on Channel 4. So
there you go, Channel 4.
Let me know.
Christ. So the link's in the chat one more time.
It means Michael Owen will be on there.
Oh,
no, I won't be listening to him talk. I'll tell you that much, bro.
The link's in the chat one more time, guys. Please go and subscribe to my new channel, the After Dark podcast. Jamie Phillips, the After Dark podcast channel, because it's the only place you can find it. Go and subscribe to it. Much love. See you all soon.
Peace out. Peace out, Jay.
Enjoy the rest of your week. See you later.